Hello, hi, once again. This is yours truly, Clarice T. And today is the 16th of August, 2025. Time check, it's 4:26 p.m. Yes, it's dark. It's a dark day this weekend, but it's cooler, so it's nice. Today's podcast, I want to say that something is in the air. I want to read a portion of the letter that will precede my courtesy call because I wouldn't want to take up much time of the officials of the Department of Justice, and I know they are busy with so many high profile cases that really are challenging the the the, um, the function, the importance, the effectivity of the whole department. And from the sound bites that I've been hearing, it's tough. The people that they have lodged a complaint against, they they are billionaires and they are very well-connected people. So I'm not going into the specificities of those cases. It's just that I to believe that even if it's not as as widely circulated, celebrated cases, this qualifies for some sort of public interest that the Department of Justice has to be prepared and informed so that they will not be caught flat-footed if nobody can predict what will happen. So if if it goes sideways, or if any of these concerns go sideways, at least they are not clueless. So where is it? Oh yeah, this is Supreme Court e-library information at your fingertips. Republic Act number 10071, April 8th, 2010, an act strengthening and rationalizing the National Prosecution Service. I'm reading, just the first 5 paragraphs because this is in connection to the reason why I had asked for a legal opinion from the DOJ, and I had not been frustrated because I was able to receive it. So it goes to show that I was on the right track when I first thought of it. Then I followed it up with action. So be it enacted by the Senate and House Representatives of the Philippines in Congress assembled, Section 1, the title, these acts shall be known as the Prosecution Service Act of 2010. Section 2, the scope, the constituent offices herein covered shall include the prosecution staff and the regional, provincial, and city prosecution offices under the Secretary of Justice that compose the National Prosecution Service as created and established in the succeeding sections. By the way, the current Secretary of the Department of Justice is Secretary Boying Remulla, and his full name is Honorable Secretary Jesus Crispin Remulla. Section 3, creation of the National Prosecution Service. There is hereby created and established a National Prosecution Service to be composed of the prosecution staff in the Office of the Secretary of Justice and such number of regional prosecution offices, offices of the provincial prosecutor, and offices of the city prosecutor as are hereinafter provided, which shall be primarily responsible for the preliminary investigation and prosecution of all cases involving violations of penal laws. Okay lang yan. Yeah. Okay, I was lost. So, from the top, there is hereby created and established a National Prosecution Service to be composed of the prosecution staff in the Office of the Secretary of Justice and such number of regional prosecution offices, offices of the Provincial Prosecutor, and offices of the City Prosecutor as are hereinafter provided, which shall be primarily responsible for the preliminary investigation and prosecution of all cases involving violations of penal laws under the supervision of the Secretary of Justice, subject to the provisions of Sections 4, 5, and 7 hereof. Section 4, Power of the Secretary of Justice. The power vested in the Secretary of Justice includes authority to act directly on any matter involving national security or a probable miscarriage of justice within the jurisdiction of the prosecution staff, regional prosecution office, and the provincial prosecutor or the city prosecutor, and to review, reverse, revise, modify, or affirm on appeal or petition for review as the law or the rules of the Department of Justice (DOJ) may provide. Final judgments and orders of the Prosecutor General, regional prosecutors, provincial prosecutors, and city prosecutors. For purposes of determining the cases which may be acted on directly by the Secretary of Justice, the phrase national security, quote unquote, shall refer to crimes against national security as provided under the Penal Code, Book 2, Title 1, and other cases involving acts of terrorism as defined under the Human Security Act under Republic Act number 9372. So the rest, okay. Finally, Section 5, the prosecution staff and its function. There shall be in the Office of the Secretary of Justice a prosecution staff that shall be composed of prosecuting officers in such number as hereinafter determined. Each shall be headed by a Prosecutor General who shall be assisted by the following. So I am not going to mention the itemized the staff that will compose the National Prosecution Service, national leadership. But I am mentioning this how, to my thinking, the reason that I am copy furnishing the national office, the national leadership of the Philippine Department of Justice, it's because of the impending discovery process that can, that might, I am not saying that it will, but that might cause embarrassment with what will the process of discovery turn out if it is done by foreign country using their system and using their ways and means. Some, of course, under the national security, of course, we keep some things lead or under the radar, like confidential. But the process of discovery, because other countries have their own sovereign independence, and that we have diplomatic relationship. For my part, this is a due diligence that is called for in order to show my malasakit, my concern for the Philippines, that I wouldn't want, to cause embarrassment for the discovery process, to stumble on something that we are not ready and we are not prepared to divulge, which will become part of the public document elsewhere. So this is the second paragraph, and it begins like this. For the last 10 years or so, save for the problematic end of contract with Grab Philippines and Grab Holdings Incorporated of Singapore, which is currently a legal action being heard in the state of Florida, United States of America, all my effort to utilize my skill set and academic background as well as profession-related experiences contained in this CV had failed to provide a viable economic placement for me to benefit other parties as earn accordingly for me and my family. I am not proud of the fact that I have not been a very productive member of society as far as my profession and advocacy are concerned. Now that another due process will verify the entries in my CV to formalize my desirability as a candidate for U.S. citizenship, or another feasible option is to be assisted by the United Nations in migrating to a country where there is a better situation for me and my family, I would like to copy furnish the National Prosecutorial Services of the Department of Justice of the Philippines of the recently issued certifications and other documents for humanitarian purposes that the undersigned would like to appeal to the offices of the District Attorney of the United States wherever the jurisdiction will be established. That because I am making a case for the income that I have not received since 2023 as Clarice T., the writer and singer and owner of various works that can be categorized as having intellectual property rights, and that because up to this time I am a Filipino with Filipino citizenship, I am appealing my case as a person with universal human rights. It is my prayer that the recognition by the Philippine government of my human rights that indeed it is I, my name, and with my personal information, with my credentials, who have asked the help of the Department of Justice with regards to the legality of my income to be received by me for the maintenance of my life and that of my family residing here in the Philippines be formalized, and that I can attach it in furtherance of my judicial court case in the United States of America. Because this, asking for a formal certification about the recognition of my human rights, it will entail the review whether I have pending cases that I should know of. That to date, at the date of this letter, prelude to my personal courtesy call, my records like in the NBI, because DOJ has overarching authority over the different law enforcement agencies as well. So any valid reason why I should not be receiving my income through private entities like the banks, and what does my name mean as far as my human rights are concerned. This will also be like the any domestic due processes that can take place now will help in the proceedings that are being heard outside of the Philippines. So this is, I think, an effective way, a measure, to avoid embarrassment, or to avoid some kind of differences of treatment, like what can be matters of national security and confidentiality here within the domestic jurisdiction of the Philippines will of course be subject of a different operation of the law elsewhere. And so this is a very good way of copy furnishing our government with everything that I have, so that they can weigh and evaluate and coordinate if they are needed. Should the process outside of the Philippines go, the processes go toward the direction that we have not anticipated. Yeah. So that's it for now. This is yours truly, Clarice T.